We'll do that next meeting. That ain't gonna happen like that. All right, ready for that? At this time, I'd like to call to order the February 9th, 2026 Jackson County Commission meeting. Say thanks for everybody getting here. Tonight we have just a couple items on our new business portion and several items on the work session. And we're also pleased to have Ms. Ashley Bailey here, president of the Highlands Medical Center, to give us an update on the hospital. So thank you very much. With that, I'd like to ask Mr. Hamrick, our county administrator, to please call the roll to establish a quorum.
Commissioner Gully.
Present.
Commissioner Kennemer.
Present.
Commissioner Buckner.
Present.
Commissioner McBride.
Present. We do have a quorum, and if we will all stand, please, I'll ask please off on the presentation and the vision prior to leave our president.
God, our Father in heaven, as we experience today's weather, we are reminded of your omnipotence and your control of all things. God, we're thankful for the warm weather we've had today and of days to come. We're thankful for the spring. We're thankful for the summer and the fall and the winter and all of your majesty. So God, we're thankful for these things. We're thankful for the place we get to live, to experience all of this weather and the change of seasons. Thank you for all the blessings you give us. Thank you for those men and women who serve us on a daily basis in a public way. We're thankful for them and their families. We pray you'll watch over us and guide us every day. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have the agenda in front of you tonight. One note for item B, we will take a motion to modify that to the motion for budget amendment. So with that, do I have a motion to approve the February 9th, 2026 agenda?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second.
Second.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. I don't think we have any awards or presentations tonight and no public comment tonight. So we will move directly into the new business portion of our meeting. We do have 3 items on the agenda. First is a motion to adopt the minutes of our January 28th meeting. The minutes are in your packet. Give you a minute to take a look at those. Do I have a motion to adopt the minutes for the January 28th, 26th meeting and work session?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion to have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions, comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is regarding an item that we discussed at our last meeting and work session. It is to replace the Code Red system with a new mass notification system managed by our EMA department. In your packet, you have several items. You have 2 contracts, one for a system that replaces Code Red without sirens, and one contract that is for a Code Red replacement with sirens included. Part of the notification. We do have a summary of the contracts and the key points of those contracts in your packet. No key points on the first page and on the back page. We do have a breakdown of the price without sirens and with sirens. Without sirens, first year total for funding is $23,599.02. With sirens, the first year is $37,122.14. You then have a yearly maintenance fee for years 2 through 5 that are listed in both cases. But let me open it up for some discussion with our EMA director, Mr. Josh Whitcomb. Josh, any comments you've got?
One of the things that we discussed in the last meeting was the delay with setting off the sirens now, if we had to ask the sheriff's department to come down. I did want to point out that this is a web-based, cloud-based system. So they would be able to have access at their dispatch stations to sound the siren before we so it would greatly reduce the delay.
Okay, any questions or comments? Part of this discussion is the with sirens or without siren approach, and so let me open up for that discussion.
So for the sirens, how many current sirens do we have? And what is the coverage of that?
We have 18 current sirens, Scottsboro section, Pisgah, Woodville, Paint Rock, and Stevens and Bridgeport operate their sirens independently, as does Hollywood.
Will they stay independent with this?
For the initial part of this, yes, that they haven't given any indication that they want to come on board with the system, but that's something we can definitely look at later on.
Josh, so that I'm clearly independent, you do notify them of the
Yes.
weather situation, they just operate.
So whenever we have a tornado warning come out, we call Bridgeport and Stevens independently, as long as they're the polygon.
Any comment about the preference?
Is the money available in the budget? That's basically a little under $14,000 difference for the first year, and then on the next year's, so it's basically $14,000 difference first year, but the years after that, it goes to where it's flat. So the only difference is a one time $14,000 fee, correct?
Yes, sir.
Basically. So the money is not an EMA budget. So we would have to amend the budget, and the transfer into EMA comes out of the general fund. We do have a margin in general fund that will be able to handle if we go either solution.
Well, I think $14,000 is a small price to pay for our citizens' safety and the delay in a weather emergency. So I would make a motion to go with the with siren capability.
Okay, other comment?
I agree.
Okay. So what we need, this is the one item that I mentioned that we need to amend the motion. And I think, John, we have to have a motion to do that, if I'm right. And that would be to amend the motion to, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Matthew, to add and amend the general fund budget transfer out for the amount of $37,122.14 and amend the EMA budget to transfer in $37,122.14. Is that correct? So that is the motion before the commission. So do I have a motion?
That is my motion.
For the motion, have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So that passes the motion. Okay. Thanks very much, Josh. Appreciate all the work that you've done to reach out to these folks, and certainly do a survey of what we got this solution. We appreciate that. Okay.
Yes, I mean, it would be beneficial for the county.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, we also talked about in our last meeting, and that has to do with markers on County Road 17. That is about, Jonathan, I think that's what we're looking at here, the total of, let's see, I've got it here somewhere. Roughly 9.2 miles for the total length and that's from State Road 35 to State Road 79 in Carolina. So the price of that is $7,926.20. So do I have a motion to approve payment markers for County Road 17?
How much?
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any questions? If not, all in favor say aye. And we will amend the budget in our next meeting, since we have the time. That's the last item we have in the new business portion of the meeting. This time, we'll move into the work session, and first, we'd like to invite Ms. Bailey, the president of Highlands Medical Center, and Ms. Bailey, I want to say thank you for your willingness to take your time to come here on a quarterly basis and give us an update of what's going on with our hospital. So let me turn the floor over to you.
You know, I always love to talk about the hospital, so it's present on time. I have quite a bit of an update tonight, so please bear with me. Lots of things happening at the hospital. The first thing is our pension update. The Jackson County Health Care Authority is the leader in helping us make decisions on the pension. You all may or may not know that it was frozen in 2010. So the employees that were in the pension at that time, that's the last time that it was offered. And at the time that Huntsville Hospital leased the hospital, they added $5 million to fully fund the pension. It was less that amount. And in August of 2025, we moved over to Regions as the trustee, where previously we had been with John Hancock. Prior to from 2016 to 2025, when we moved to Regions, it was 60 to 67% funded since 2016, and now it's funded at 89% through Regions. The discount rate is also at 5% now. So we feel much more secure, and the stability is there that we need to make sure that the pension funds are available to those employees. The previous monthly amount used to fund the account was $76,000. Going with Regions, it's now $26,000 a month. So a big improvement there. The unfunded liability will be paid off in 12 years. We also hired a company that we had about 170 employees that had retired or were deceased that we could not locate for various reasons, whether their address changed or their phone number changed. So we hired a company that helped us to locate either the retired employees or next of kin. They have been able to locate all of those prior employees and to correct those addresses and phone numbers so that we can release checks to pay those out. The one, I guess, last piece of it is that the next of kin process is more of a legal aspect that we have to make sure that they are the receivers of the estate funds. So we're working through that as well with legal. The pensioners, you all may be asked, they will get 2 1099s this year, one from John Hancock and one from Regions. So if you're asked about that or something, we've had a lot of calls. So if you're asked that's the reason why. This will be the only year they receive 2 1099s. Any questions on that? So moving on to the central business office, you all may have received emails because the system is planning to centralize all of the business offices on this side of the region. So us, DeKalb, and Marshall, North and South, to a building in Arab. And so when this was, I'll say that it came up on a call that wasn't a part of our the C-suite's knowledge. And so it was brought up in a different meeting, and some of our employees heard about it. Were obviously very upset, as were we, because we didn't know ahead of time. And Jeff Sams was at our board meeting this week or last week, and he apologized profusely that happened, because this is still in the planning phases. It's not anything that's set in stone. There's a lot of logistics, a lot of infrastructure, IT, all of those things that would have to be done prior to a move like that. So for us at Highlands, and it impacts all of the hospitals in this region, but for us at Highlands, it's 6 employees that would be affected. And the plan now is that if they want to stay in that current job role, then Huntsville will increase their hourly rate so that they can drive and be fairly compensated. If they don't want to do that, they can stay at the hospital and with their same rate of pay in a like position which Chris Savanas, our CFO, he's working on that as well. My regret is that they learned about it the way that they did. I think that it was right around the holidays, and of course that's, terrifying. And so Chris and I have really tried to be we are transparent with them and tell them what we know, which wasn't very much at all. But I think now there's a better understanding that, my desire has always been to keep our jobs in Jackson County. So just so you know, because you may get questions out in the community, we don't know everything about it, but what I do know is that we'll take care of our employees. Any questions on that? Okay. Crestwood purchase, I think that's been a lot of topic. I know absolutely nothing about it. It's been very secretive because, of course, the Crestwood is a part of CHS. They're publicly traded. So the information that can be released is essentially none until the closing, which is April 1st. What I do know is that they're a 180 bed facility. We do have a lot of difficulty, all of the regional hospitals, in getting patients placed at Huntsville, Maine, because they are always full with 60 or more patients waiting in the ER to be placed in beds. So having those beds available at Crestwood, because they offer all the specialties, not trauma, obviously, but they have cardiologists and cardiothoracic surgeons and neurologists and all these things that we need access to. This will help us have access to that for our residents. We want to keep as much as we can here, obviously, but there are times we need to send patients to a higher level of care that perhaps don't really need to go to Huntsville, Maine, but could definitely benefit from being at Crestwood and being closer than if they had to go to UAB or somewhere, Vanderbilt. So I think we've got a lot to look forward to. There's so much growth in North Alabama, we can't keep up with it, as I know y'all are well aware. But this will be a big help to us, especially in our ER. There is another RN market adjustment on its way. June or July, there will be another raise given to RNs. I don't know the amount yet. They'll release that a little closer to time, but I do think it's good for us to be able to provide better wages to be able to keep people from migrating to Birmingham. So excited about that. Recruitment wise, we are recruiting for OBGYN. If two, we would be happy to get two, but right now we're really hoping for one. We have a great recruitment firm that we use that's very robust and I think I've interviewed 3 so far, and we really need that. Dr. Stroud's here. Dr. Pierce is going to retire very soon. Dr. Vargas, she's telling me she'll hang around. We'll see. She'll get tired too one day, but we want to backfill that. Ortho, we don't have an orthopedic surgeon full-time right now. We do share with DeKalb with Dr. Boatwright and Hester. TOC is recruiting a full-time orthopedic doctor for us. And we're also recruiting an ENT. Dr. Marshall covers DeKalb and Highlands, and he is overrun. Business is very good for ENT, so we're recruiting someone to help him. Our WIN clinic will be closing, or actually moving, to the 5th floor. So that building, we're going to expand where they are now to accommodate Dr. Clayton's practice. They're one of our busiest practices in the physician network. So we'll be building that out for them and moving WIN clinic up to the 5th floor, which is where we've moved Highland Surgical Services. So Dr. Holtz and Allie are now on the 5th floor. They have a lot more space. We went up there today, and Dr. Allie was running up and down the halls. He was so happy he had room. So that will be moving, and we're going to do our very best to get the word out, do some really good marketing so that people know that that's where it's moved. So on our capital improvements, for this fiscal year, Huntsville has contributed $1.2 million. We will complete our security camera install by the end of this fiscal year. It includes facial recognition, so that if we have anybody that we feel has been a threat or has been a threat in the past, we can load their photograph into our system and they'll recognize them before they're in the hospital, or recognize them in the parking lot. These cameras also will detect if somebody's laying down. So if somebody falls in the parking lot, or if, heaven forbid, somebody was hiding from someone else, we'll always know when somebody's on the grounds, and our security guards can go out and check on them. So a very high-tech security system. So I'm really excited about it being in place. We've also purchased new urology equipment for Dr. Simmons. It's working very well. the new generator project, which I've been talking about every time I come, I think the $1.67 million project. It has started a little bit. We did have Scottsboro Utilities help us out with some transformer connectivity that we've got to do in preparation, and they've been wonderful. They've also, money has been put into a pain procedure area. The CT equipment room needed a new HVAC. We've replaced the sprinkler heads at Cumberland Care Center. We bought new pediatric physical therapy equipment. Our nurse call system, which is phase 2, will be completed by the end of this fiscal year. And if you recall, prior to the new nurse system, when a patient would call for help, there was a 5-minute delay. So talking about what Josh was talking about, those delays are costly. So we want to make sure that we don't have a patient in distress and just not know for 5 minutes. So those call systems are in place. IT fiber installed, that's been about $50,000. So, and then a blood bank refrigerator replacement. So our volunteers, our little pink ladies, they have contributed about $60,000, and they do this through the gift shop and bake sales. It's amazing to me how they generate all of this money. But they provided Riverbend Family Medicine with an exam chair, EMS with a blood warmer, an Olympus vacuum system for the OR, fetal monitor carts, and newborn sensory hearing screening equipment, and that is required by the state of Alabama. And our foundation also has contributed about $60,000 so far this fiscal year, and for hearing tests, for audiograms, for occupational medicine. Ryan Trammell has come on board with us in the Physician Network, and he has really developed a program for occupational medicine. So for Lozier, West Rock, all of these industries that we have in the community, he is going out and providing those. He and the nurse practitioner are going out providing the services that we can provide to them on site so that they don't have to come into the hospital. So he's also bought an EKG machine for that. They've bought tourniquets for EMS, blood batteries, ventilators, just so many needs that we have. Lastly, the Rural Hospital Investment Program, it closed for donations this past week. You all may remember there's a $20 million cap for this year. The most that a hospital can receive is $750,000 this year. Well, actually 2027. 2028 is $1 million, 2029 is 1.2 million. So we'll receive $634,000 next year, which we'll be able to use for capital purchases. And that's thanks to the community businesses here in Jackson County that were willing to offset their tax payments to the fund to support rural hospitals. So we'll talk with them more about releasing information and marketing. We'll make sure they want to be recognized, and then we'll make sure that we bring that out to the community as well. Any questions? I know that was a lot.
Talking about capital purchases.
Yes, sir.
Can you name some of those type of things?
Which
When you make a capital purchase, what are you talking about?
that's money that's separate from operations. So Huntsville gives us a set amount of money every year to use. So we have our contingency, which this year was $500,000. So some of what we purchased was with that, but then they have their own amount. We call it Jeff's money that he's able to do. So a lot.
So what do you buy with that though?
So we bought, that was when I was talking about the security cameras, the urology equipment, OR equipment, some things that are below the capital threshold that we do that really won't come out in these type meetings, or all the facility upgrades. I try to put most of that into just operations money because the building, is so old. So we do try to.
I have a personal interest in the June and July raise because my daughters are in there. So does that cover all aspects of an RN? I mean, there's different levels of RNs.
Yes, all RNs
Okay.
will get a raise. Yes, a letter went out to them, letting them know that it was coming.
Cool.
But like I said, I don't know the amount just yet. We're waiting on HR at Huntsville to release that information. I was happy to know that we're getting one. So.
A couple things. First off, kudos on the work on the pension. I know that was very much a concern that we had,
Yes.
making sure that would be. That looks a whole lot better. You mentioned that Crestwood was adding 180 beds to the system, which of course is a good thing.
Yes.
Just curious, how many beds do we have?
Our certificate of need is for 107, we staff 50. Being at 50 beds, it's really all we can staff, but it puts us in the rural hospital additional funding that we can receive from the state.
Okay. So that's a number you want to stay at, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And we will go over, so for example, right now, everybody's really sick apparently. So we're full at the hospital. We have patients holding in the ER. So there may be times we go over the 50 number, but in general, 50 is our number.
And for the most part, that's monitored care. I mean, not intensive care.
We have 10 intensive care beds.
Okay.
And so one thing that we're working with Huntsville on is, it's very difficult to get specialists in rural areas. So I've asked for a pulmonologist that's an intensivist that can help us with these patients. Will be through telehealth, but I think our hospitalists will feel much better having that higher level of care provider just available through a telehealth consult. And we have really good monitors for telehealth. We do that in other areas, particularly for psych. So we're familiar with that, with the telehealth process. And this will be an extra set of eyes on ventilator management.
So with your availability there, is there something y'all, don't trade secrets or anything, but is there a possibility that our hospital could become a specialty center with that kind of person coming in potentially to say, all right, for regional, for this type procedure, this is something we're going to specialize?
Such a good question. So possibly. I know right now with Marshall South, I think it's Marshall South, one of the Marshall hospitals, they're working on being a higher level neonatal intensive care unit facility. So there's a level 2 that we want them to be, and then the really sick babies would go to Huntsville because they're over capacity there too. So we are looking at different ways to better use the regional hospitals for different specialties. So I don't know what it would be right now, but I do know that we need cardiology and work with Huntsville to get at least telehealth until we can recruit a cardiologist. Just some things to sort of buffer us for right now.
I can see the benefit of using your multiple locations. This is especially for this and so on and so forth. Is there anything that we can do to better support the hospital?
Y'all have been wonderful. Can't think of a thing. I'll probably drive you crazy. We're in contact a lot.
Well, I'll have to say, if we look over from when the hospital, Huntsville Hospital took over operations of the hospital, great progress made. Clinical care facilities in the hospital. If you walk through the hospital, and many of you have, you constantly see renovations going on. And I really appreciate what is happening there for the hospital. Patients are up, as I understand, and
We're under budget.
I think there's a growing confidence, and we hear a number of good news stories about patients who come into the hospital and treatment. And we recently had one of our employees that had an experience with the hospital, Ms. Perkins there. So, Misty, would you like to share a little bit of your experience?
Okay, so last Friday, February 6th, I went in for an imaging procedure. It was, as soon as I went into the waiting room, there was nobody in there. I was greeted and sign was really quick. I was taken back and reassured by the technician the whole time because I was a little nervous. The radiologist actually came in and did the procedure, which I've never experienced before. And the whole time I could actually watch the procedure going on, which was really neat. I love medical stuff, so that was really cool for me. And then as soon as the procedure was finished, he went over his opinion with me. And so I didn't even have to wait for my doctor to call me back with the results. That's all. I really appreciated that.
Of course. I'm glad you had a good experience. That's hometown medicine. When your radiologist will come in and do that for you. That's a small hospital. That's why I love it.
Any other?
Just want to say thank you for the update. As important as it is that they're doing all this work, it's just as important for us as commissioners to know what's going on. So when someone approaches us and then asks questions and we have information to give them, that's not always the case with boards and different committees, but we appreciate you kindly keeping us.
I'm a phone call away if things come up that you have questions about, or if you're getting questions about, please call me. Total transparency is my desire, so I'll be happy to share what I know.
Hospital's near and dear to me. I spent 12 years of my life being chairman of that board, so, yeah, so I appreciate the work and dedication that's went into it.
Thank you so
Again,
much.
thanks very much for taking your time. We know how busy you are, so.
It's okay, thank you.
Spend some time with us. We'll go with this.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is placement of a 250-year memorial tree. I have a couple items that I placed in the packets. The Alabama USA Semi-Quincentennial Commission is giving every county in the state an opportunity to get a tree to represent and mark the 250th year of our nation. And that tree is a Princeton elm. There's a sheet on it that I provided that will provide some information about the Princeton elm. And the tree will be accompanied by a plaque, and the example of that plaque is on the second sheet that you have there. The county would be responsible for selecting a site for the tree and for the planting and maintaining of the tree. When the tree grows out in a period of about 20 to 30 years, it could reach a height of about 70 feet tall. And width, I think on the sheet it does have the width of the tree. And it says that the elm tree has a history in America of being designated the first liberty tree. So they are offering that tree to us. It is at our request that we want to have a tree. They will start delivering trees at the end of August into March. And so we do have the opportunity to make this decision the last meeting of this month. So I'd like to just give you the information that we have with the tree. I have been in touch with the commission. And they certainly will be responsive to us for it. The question about where to have the tree, we have two. We have the courthouse and we have the courthouse annex as opportunities. Also, there would be the opportunity to provide the tree to either a municipality within the county or another agency within the county that we would think it would be very appropriate to have. So that is a decision of the commission as to where we would recommend putting the tree. So let me open for just some discussions, but we don't have to make any decisions tonight. This is for your information, and we'll discuss it again at the 23rd meeting and make a decision. That decision will be, do we want the tree, and if so,
I think the tree would be great, and Liberty Lane, Liberty Tree Project, that would kind of be cool.
Liberty Lane tree.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't disagree. I'm curious with the grounds here at the courthouse and Liberty Lane. Do we have any semblance of a master plan of where we want, what would be good there, what's not? And I know that you're smiling at me because it sounds like additional work, but instead of just we've got a nice evergreen, let's put it beside our whatever and have a repeat of what we just dealt with out there. I don't want that. I'd like to plant a tree where it can stay for 70 years and be beneficial, or 100 years, probably for this tree. But it may be too much to ask in a couple of weeks.
So let me answer part of your question.
Okay.
We don't have a master plan for we've got trees. We do have a lot of trees around the courthouse. We have had to deal with in several instances of really large tree limbs falling out of trees and landing on cars. We've had some requests for insurance claims regarding that, in fact. And not to be light on this, many of the trees that are around the courthouse were commemorative trees that were placed. And so they will be here for many years, or as long as they survive. Many of those trees are getting aged at this point, and they're reaching, arborists tell us, near the end of their life. But as long as they're here, we're going to keep those trees. Some trees around here are not commemorative trees. And if you know, some of them have not been in good shape. We had one in the front that we approved taking out because it was not native to this area and it was clearly dying. And the recommendation by everybody was that we needed to get rid of that. There is space over at the courthouse annex, the new building. The annex certainly part of our courthouse structure. The grounds over there right now do not have any landscaping done to it. There are no trees in that. So there's plenty of space over there for that. One of the issues we have dealt with here at the courthouse is the number of trees we have and the canopy we have is creating an issue with the ability to sustain growth of grass on the lawn. And we have invested several times with that. My personal recommendation that we certainly wouldn't want to do add another tree to the front of the courthouse to increase the canopy. But that's just my thought with that. So, but just some things to consider.
Certainly. And so are there folks more in tune than ourselves that may could help with the placement of this tree?
Absolutely. We have a tree commission in the city that could help us consider that. And we certainly have arborists that we have reached out to.
And I'd love for Mr. Webb to be on that.
And yes, I think that's a great idea. Okay. So we can get a recommendation from those folks. Any other questions? So I gather we would certainly entertain having the tree. The question now is just where we put it, and we'll get some information for you. So with that, we'll work on that and get that to you in the next meeting. We'll probably put it back on the work session, but then after discussion, make the decision. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's next item on our agenda is regarding park, and I think Doug has a request that we surplus an old truck, 1997 truck. Doug?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Stan?
It is. Yes, sir.
Yes, we'd like to surplus. We were fortunate to receive one of the trucks that was handed down from, I believe it was Mapping and Appraisal. And one of those three trucks came to the park. So with that, we've got this 1997 model truck that we would like to surplus. It's pretty old and it's pretty rough.
Okay. Any questions?
Are you going to dispose of it in surplus?
Put it on Gov Deals. We'll sell it that way.
So we'll put that on your business for approval next week.
Okay.
Okay. Work for you, Doug.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. By the way, gonna walk around the trail today and the Burning Bush Trail. Won't be long until flowers are budding out over there at the park. And so thanks for the great work that the folks are doing over the park. It does look good. That's the last item in our work session. So at this point, let me ask for any reports from the staff, county administrator, any comments?
No, sir.
Okay, county engineer? County attorney?
All right.
Okay, and now comments from the commission, District 2, Commissioner Kilmer,
Oh, no.
Commissioner 3, Commissioner Butler,
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and have nothing else to add.
District 4, Commissioner McBride.
Thank everyone for coming out. Thank you to all employees for the hard work that they put into our county.
District 1, Commissioner Phillips.
Just say it's a pleasure to serve and I appreciate all the hard work of the county employees.
Okay, and so again, let me say thank you for being here. Once again, thank you for the great work that your folks are doing at the hospital. Thank you. With that, that is the last item that we have. Our next meeting will be February the 23rd. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? We have a motion, we have a second. A second, all in favor, say aye. Thank you.